What is up, guys and girls? Welcome to episode number 125 of the Nonsense Review. I'm your host, as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello, everybody.
And to jump on a phrase I've been throwing around lately, we are striking while the iron is cold because we're going to watch Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Before we actually jump into the episode itself, those of you familiar with the podcast know we like to briefly talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe. So with that in mind, Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
I'll start with the universe first. Iman Vellani, who we know as the star of Ms. Marvel, is now becoming another star of Ms. Marvel. She's going to be the co-writer of the upcoming Ms. Marvel comic, which is going to be the first one after she died. So she's going to be reintroduced as the New Mutant. Will be a mutant inhuman hybrid going forward to mirror her mixed heritage in the comic as well. And the other co-writer, whose name escapes me and doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned, has said that she is scared to write alongside Ms. Vellani because she is so much more of a nerd than anyone else and knows the character better than the writers do. Star Wars Outlaws has been reported by Ubisoft. Each planet larger than entire Assassin's Creed game world. Since it's being made by Ubisoft and coming from Ubisoft, this is actually kind of a big deal.
So Rick, I applaud you for powering on through my silence because I'm still just getting my head around the fact that an actor is now going to be writing for comics, and said actor is a massive fanboy, or well, fangirl, whatever, same difference in it, of said character, and that usually doesn't go very well.
Usually not, but by the same token, like, I gave her my MVP from that series.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm just saying there's a real worry of, I don't know what I don't like throwing around the term Mary Sue, but I'd be concerned. That being said, I want all cards on the table. I don't read comics anymore. I've never read Miss Marvel. I have no stake in this race.
Sure. It felt like an attention grab when they just killed her off for a short amount of time.
Oh, it felt like that because it fucking was, because that was to try and drum up interest for Spider-Man.
Yes, as if Spider-Man needs interest.
It's Spider-Man. If you fuck up Spider-Man, you're shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Ubisoft thing, I would take with a massive grain of salt, to be honest, if it's Ubisoft saying it themselves, because they eventually fixed it, but I remember No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Now, granted, put apples and oranges, because No Man's Sky was a little indie studio, and I think everyone expecting that game to be everything that was promised when, it didn't seem like the studio was promising it at all. It said, this is what we're doing, and then everyone just went, this is what they're doing, and any time they tried to backtrack, everyone went, no, you said this, so this is what we're getting.
Yes.
But yeah, Ubisoft technically has the resources to do what they're saying that they're doing. Do I believe them? No.
I could believe them if I scaled back my expectations to these planets being mostly empty, which at that point, why make it that big?
My last Assassin's Creed game was Valhalla, which was a fun game, and that was set in pretty much Britain. Not even all of Britain. Right, England. Sorry, yeah, England, not Britain. There was no Scotland or Wales. And that game was pretty big. It was pretty empty.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
I had fun because it was atmospheric as fuck, and I liked going around as a Viking, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't empty.
Cool. So we have foster kids in California can now go to college for free, including grants for books and food. I think this is fantastic.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Another part of this is that you can be made a ward of the state if you are a juvenile criminal in California, because they've got the focus on rehabilitation over incarceration. So this is like the final capstone on helping a kid who'd lost their way, like, make something of themselves,
Yeah, there's not much to say, really. I don't agree with the American prison system. I don't think many people do. I don't agree with the British prison system either, because it's scarily similar, but
yeah, but the American one with private prisons,
yeah, that's ultra fucked.
Next one is something that I really hope isn't true. We've talked about Luke Skywalker in the past on the podcast, haven't we?
Have we?
Well, he's the Luke Skywalker cosplayer who, I think I talked about it when he refused to do a Comic-Con because they wouldn't donate his fee.
Oh, okay, that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, he does a lot of charity work, has a lot of access to kids.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, he's been arrested under credible suspicion of child pornography. I really hope this one doesn't turn out to be true.
That's not great. We've learned from Justin Roiland we're not going to join the mob, however, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, until convicted, it's merely arrested under credible suspicion. Again, really hope it's not true, because a lot of people had a lot of love for the guy. He did a lot of good things legitimately, however...
So did Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, the Jimmy Savile technique. And Pokemon Sleep has had a soft launch in beta, which is now live. And Kotaku, the bastion of journalism that it is, has reported that it records your farts.
I mean, wouldn't that be expected?
Yeah. So what it does...
Doesn't it just record the noises you make anyway?
Yeah, it records any noises over a certain decibel threshold, but they decided to report this as it records your farts if they're loud enough. And on personal notes, we went to see the Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, the movie that Tom Cruise threw a hissy fit over because he didn't want it to compete with Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah, so his came out... Well, his came out like 2 weeks before, so, he kind of won on that respect. It was fine. It was a Mission Impossible movie, and despite being very openly a part 1 of 2 for its own little mini arc, it felt like a complete story, as complete as any spy movie can be, especially when, something happens at the end, but, it's actually tied off in its own little bow.
You can talk about this as much as you like. I can't input. I've never watched Mission Impossible. The films have never appealed to me, and Tom Cruise is a knobhead.
Yep. While this is all true, I basically only dropped in at I think 2 or 3. Never watched the first one, so the one that all of the memes are of, being the first film, I'd never seen. The second one I think I saw when I was like 15, and then from then on it was like 3 was where I actually started paying attention.
Sure.
This was before we knew that he was a nutcase.
I don't care if people like watching Tom Cruise films. It's just, he is a knobhead.
Yep. Lastly, for a little bit of topical thing to do with today being more or less D&D brought to life, my posh rogue passed away by walking into a sword, as did 3 of the rest of my party. This guy was a blender, and now I've had to RNG a new character because I have too many backup characters and I couldn't choose one. So, I'm making a skeezy halfling gunslinger.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, that's about it for me, my week, and the things that I've seen. How about you? How has your week been, and what have you seen out in the universe?
My week's been dull on a personal front. I've played more FF16, and I've been building some and painting some Warhammer. It's one of those where I say it's dull because I haven't actually achieved anything. I've been doing things, but I've not completed anything. So yeah, I have been doing things, nothing of note. I watched the Sing film on Netflix. It's by Illumination. You're probably familiar with it.
I've seen the first one, not the second.
I've seen the first. Why would I watch the second one and not the first one?
Okay.
I would have said Sing 2.
Yeah, totally.
I was halfway through this movie when my brother popped his head in and said, "Oh, yeah, is this the first one or second one?" And I was like, "I didn't know there was a fucking second one." Yeah, usual Illumination fare where the animation's great.
Yeah, it is.
Very basic plot, but it was fun. I watched it in the background while doing aforementioned Warhammer shit, so,
Yeah, it's got the critic from The Simpsons, and also the critic, and it's got Seth MacFarlane as a Seth MacFarlane character.
Yeah, okay, so when that character turned up on screen even, I was like, that sounds like Seth MacFarlane doing his, what's his name? Not Dean Martin, the other fucker. No, the singer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've forgotten his fucking name. I did it my way. That one. Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra. I was trying to say John Travolta, and that's wrong.
Yeah, it sounded like Seth MacFarlane doing his Frank Sinatra impression, and then I got to the credits and it said Seth MacFarlane. I went, that's why it sounded like that.
Yep.
But all power to him. It's a pretty good impression. But yeah, I watched it. It was fun. The most fun part was obviously the audition scene, which I feel like was the concept for the whole fucking movie in the first place.
Yeah, a bunch of furries having an audition and getting Simon Cowelled off.
They didn't get Simon Cowelled off. It was literally just...
Yeah, they all got accepted.
Yeah, obviously he cut people at the end, but yeah, it was just the guy who was voiced by Matthew McConaughey, which is weird.
Yeah, I forgot his real name, but yeah, he was the critic in The Critic Show, which also had its own episode on The Simpsons, which was like the least liked episode of the time.
Oh, that's what you meant. When you said the critic, I thought you meant that little guy way back when, in the early days of The Simpsons, that went to the Springfield for the film festival just to get away from McBain.
Oh man, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it's like, on closer inspection, these are loafers.
Your shoes are untied.
But yeah, Rick, you ready for some news?
Yeah, let's go.
I don't know if this first one counts as news, but it was cute. Mag Draws on Twitter has been going nuts during a character of theirs. I say a character of theirs. It's Peacheroff.
Okay.
It's Peach. It's Princess Peach from Super Mario Bros. But she's dressed up like Sephiroth.
Yeah. Is it that, or has Sephiroth been given a peach crown?
No, it's Princess Peach.
Okay.
And
villain Princess Peach. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's all. It's cute. Go on Twitter, check that out. It's awesome. Reddit has brought back Our Place in a thinly veiled attempt to appease the fan base. That's by fan base, I mean user base.
Yeah, they bring that back every year, though, don't they?
Not this time of year, they don't. Usually it's around April time. They've literally brought it back because Reddit users are angry because of the obvious things that are happening. And as everyone probably would have expected, the Our Place board has been flooded by various messages saying, fuck Spez.
Yep.
They had a massive group effort to draw a giant guillotine on the right-hand side of the mat with just user Spez going through the head hole. And rather weirdly, all of a sudden, it got pixel bombed and in 2 seconds immediately went away, which is suspicious.
Yeah, it's almost as if people use botnets to manipulate Our Place.
Well, you know, bots are one thing. When the fucking moderators are the ones doing it, it's like, no, you don't get to say you can't use these tools and then use them yourselves.
Yep. I did actually see that there was a bit of a turf war going over on the Canadian flag. People kept turning it into a marijuana leaf.
There's always I say turf war. There's always fucking little battles like that, and they're always hilarious because ultimately it does not matter.
Oh, totally. Like, a lot of the time, it's just people want to make their flag.
Dude, that's what 90% of this is just people making flags. It's really low effort.
Yeah, it's almost as if flags matter to some people. Like,
well, it's like how do I best represent my cultural identity? Here's a flag. We won't go into the Eddie Izzard sketch, but hey, if you know, you know.
Yep.
Next up, Stardew Valley, weirdly, is getting a 1.6 update.
I thought their last update was the one that enabled multiplayer.
That was the last big update. They've had loads of little updates since. The last one was Concerned Ape saying, hey, this is going to be our final update. It's just going to make life easier for the modders. So that was a fucking lie.
Yeah, I seem to think every other final patch has been touted as being the final patch.
Not really. It's one of those weird ones where Concerned Ape, I imagine, is working on the game until the last patch is out for mobile, because that game's on mobile phones now, and he gave it to one team, and that team were just dossing about doing fuck all, so he moved to another team, and that looks like it's actually going to happen.
Okay, so handing your stuff over to a team and them doing nothing is a really frustrating thing.
Well, yeah, because it's like, the mobile release was also the most recent release, and also, I imagine, a bit of a fuck to work with when you're used to coding on a PC, or just a PC. This game came to life originally as just a PC game, I believe. It's going to be interesting to see what's added. He said there's going to be a new festival, a bunch of new dialogue, and including a mystery line of just like a bunch of question marks. So it's nice to see that he's taking time away from his new project to add more to his old project that people already love.
Yeah, that's nice, yeah.
In other news, Cartoon Network Studios have officially shut down their building because they're merging properly with Warner, and it's another sad day for animation fans.
Yeah, I wish the animators the best, and I hope they get the support that they need to make things.
Probably not.
Although we can't guarantee that. No.
Yeah.
Animation is expensive. Warner Brothers know this. They were one of the giants in animation. They don't do much these days. Yet, hopefully they put the amount of money into it that needs to go into things to actually create things.
The fact that they've closed down a building and have just said, all the animators that we've decided to keep on, you move over here in our already existing building, it's not a good sign. Last but not least, Oppenheimer is out. I'm going to watch it tomorrow as of recording, so that by the time this comes out, I'd have watched it. It's a 3-hour-long movie. It's Christopher Nolan. It's, I don't know if his name's pronounced Cillian or Cillian, but Cillian Murphy is playing Oppenheimer, and I'm looking forward to it. I like the history behind it. I hope they don't fuck it up.
Yep. What do you think of the double bill of Barbie and Oppenheimer?
Fine. Like, it's no different from when Doom and Animal Crossing came out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it's the exact same thing, but for movies. The problem is, I work on Saturday evening. I don't have time to watch both films in a day, so
Sure.
It's going to be Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer looks more exciting for my interests. Got nothing against Barbie. It looks like it's going to be a funny film, but I know what my priorities are.
Yeah, it did spark a trend among some friends of ours to propose double bills of completely unrelated movies, like, I don't know, Fast and Furious and Toy Story 2.
Okay. Is Toy Story 2 playing anywhere?
No, but like home movie nights, where
okay.
people come round and you watch old things, so like Fast and Furious 1 and Toy Story 2.
Well, that's just dumb.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just as disconnected as Oppenheimer is from Barbie.
Yeah, but the reason why I say it's dumb is why would you watch Fast and Furious and then Toy Story 2 and not Toy Story?
Sure.
I don't know. I think Fast and Furious and Toy Story 2 have some similar themes.
Sure.
I'm just saying, it's all about family or some shit.
Yeah, found family.
Like, you're not wrong. That's exactly what both films... Well, actually, I don't think Fast and Furious started that way. I don't think the found family started being a thing until, like, movie 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're watching Stranger Things today. I don't know fuck all about Stranger Things. When it first came out, I didn't didn't care. I still don't really care, but we're here for a podcast, and I will try. The only thing I know is it's vaguely based around D&D shit. I know season 1 has the Demogorgon as the villain, and I know the most recent season has Vecna, because people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
Yep. And I'm vaguely aware also it takes place in the 80s, and it's full of 80s things.
Cool, so well before my time.
Yeah.
I also know Sean Austin, Samwise Gamgee's in it.
Yeah. I think he's the dad.
Fair enough. He does, like, very quick tangent before we actually watch the thing. I do know for a fact that behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, when they were filming it, he did basically become the on-set dad.
Oh.
Yeah, of the Hobbits, not so much of, like, fucking everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Rick, over to you.
Okay, no. Stranger Things, Season 1, Episode 1, on Netflix. 3, 2, 1, and go.
Chapter 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers.
Oh, yeah, I've not seen that very often when they actually F with the Netflix logo.
Yeah, because usually when they F with the... when they fuck with the Netflix logo, it's a secondary logo they've played after the original.
Yeah.
I didn't fully read that. I think we're in Indianapolis or something.
Yeah, Hawkins, Indiana. Yeah, Hawkins National Laboratory.
Ah, US Department of Energy. And it said we're in 1983.
That's before my time.
But not by much. Oh, here's another reason why I don't care about Stranger Things. I don't particularly care for horror films.
True. Yeah, me either. Having a person with you is going to help with this.
I like Alien, and I like the Friday the 13th films. But the Friday the 13th films can barely be called horror. They're very campy.
Yeah. I mean, like, even in 1990, or 1991 or whatever, the Simpsons were riffing on, look at Friday the 13th Part 1. It's tame by today's standards.
Well, that's true, though, because that's before they even give you... That's before Jason exists. We're going to get a jump scare in a minute. The Jason isn't the villain, it's Jason's mum in Friday the 13th Part 1.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a part of bar trivia where the guy who wrote Friday the 13th, after like Part 3 came out, he used to go to bars and bet people that they couldn't name the villain from Friday the 13th, and everyone goes, well, it's Jason. It's like, no, it's not, it's Jason's mum.
Hmm.
Does it bother you that a 5-year-old's a better DM than you are?
Yeah. Man, look how small they are. Like,
they are children.
Yeah. So, like, I bought this mini. I'm definitely using it.
Yeah. 13 or higher? What? That's not that big of odd. You know what? I will say we've played pen and paper D&D once, and it got spoilt.
Yep.
Typical,
was that the rage quit time?
Don't worry about it. We probably shouldn't actually dive into that story. I mentioned it and then was immediately like, we probably shouldn't talk about this. It was when we review, yes. That being said, typical wizard trying to solve all his problems with Fireball.
Yes. It's worse with clerics. It's just not as much of a meme. You know that stupid AoE spell that I use all the time? Apparently clerics use that all the way up to 8th level.
Yeah, cool. I hate that spell. I don't hate it. It's just very annoying whenever you bring it out.
Yeah, the Divine Tar Pit spell.
No, absolutely fuck off. If it goes on the floor, you re-roll.
Yep. Same with a cocked dice.
Yeah, fucking... Did he have a
they
Karate
must have
Kid
carpet
t-shirt on?
the... That sounds about right, yeah. They put so many 80s things in that Karate Kid sounds about right.
Kid has a crush on the slightly older girl.
Yep.
He does have an adorable cheeky grin on him.
He does.
Like, you want to pinch his cheeks. Is that a weird thing to say?
It's always weird, but, you know, at least it's not creepy.
Like, I don't mean it literally, it's just, you know... Like, not pinch his cheeks, you kind of got to rub his head and go, fuck off, you weirdo. So don't they sell, they sell sets now for D&D, don't they? For people to specifically try and recreate
Play
the
this
Stranger
adventure,
Things
yeah.
adventure.
I think so. If it's not a Wizards product, then it's a very easy to make third-party spin-off.
Yeah, because Demogorgon's already got stats in the rulebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when comics cost 20 cents.
And that was significant.
For a child, certainly.
Oh, definitely.
An adult's just like, should I get a new copy of X-Men or a bottle of milk?
Yep. People moaning about something going up by 10 cents when they're getting a $20 scratch card.
Don't. Jesus Christ, that actually got me. Well, I wasn't really expecting it. I was sort of looking away and all I heard was the fucking noise and I looked and I went, ah!
Well, I mean, dude in the middle of the road is going to be a jump scare anyway, but this one was in a suit with long arms. Jump scared by Slenderman.
Oh no. Not the man of Slenders.
Conveniently, a house is there.
I assume it's his house.
Yeah, presumably, seeing as the dog is excited rather than aggressive.
If no one responds when I call out, my first instinct is to cuddle with the puppy. Damn rotary phones!
Oh, they've even got the kink in the cord.
Oh, cool. That's giving me the bad ASMR up my back. Awesome.
Ah, they're using the magnet trick. Yeah, the reason that those locks have to be made out of brass is because if you make them out of iron, then you can just use a magnet trick to open it.
That makes sense. I never would have thought of that, but yeah. I'm sorry, did he just get a gun?
Well, he's gone to the... he's gone here and he's got his parents' gun, it seems to be.
It's not a pistol, it's a rifle, which is more responsible than us all. Please stop zooming on the door. We know there's going to be a jump scare. Could you fuck off?
It's going to be a normal person coming through and he's going to be training a gun on them. Or they're going to come through the window.
I don't like this because you know it's going to be a fucking... Feed me, Seymour. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that static sound. I'll give them credit for not going with a loud, massive bang to scare the shit out of you. Why do I know Winona Ryder's name?
She was an actress back in the day, and obviously still now.
So the question is, what the fuck do I know her from? But... oh well. One of the few things I know this film did is it did kickstart a few people's careers.
And also it brought a lot of things, like, super back. Like,
yeah, there's that
Kate
one...
Bush.
Yeah, I was going to say Kate Bush, but I couldn't remember the name. Because I always laughed whenever I heard fucking Carl talk about it on the Ricky Gervais show. because I don't think he ever expected Kate Bush to come back. I don't think anyone expected it to come back.
So it's running up that hill from Kate Bush, and then I can't remember what they did for Metallica, but they brought Metallica back to relevance.
Metallica never went out of relevance to the metal community, but sure.
Oh, true. But they showed Metallica to people who normally engage in butt rock at the hardest.
Yeah, including our friend Matt.
Yeah.
Because Matt sent me a message one day saying, "Oh, have you heard this Metallica song?" And I was like, it's one of those where it's like, "Did you get this from Stranger Things?" And he just went, "Yeah." I went, "Okay." Like, I don't care that's where you got it from, but you know I like metal music. Yes, I fucking heard of Metallica. Like, fucking hell, you didn't discover them.
You could have tacked on the good old Jimmy Hetfield epithet of damn fool Egypt.
I'm not familiar with that name.
Oh, he's the singer from Metallica.
James Hetfield.
Well, he goes by Jimmy sometimes as well, but yeah.
Okay, see, that's the bit that was confusing me. That looks like Jim Jeffries.
It might be.
It's not. It's not Jim Jeffries. It looked like him because he was a bit fat. Oh yeah, let's take my morning pills with some beer.
And a fag.
I know you're not allowed to say it, but god damn it, there's a reason why smoking was an epidemic. It's because it looks cool to smoke.
Yeah. Do not do this cool thing.
No, don't. It's really bad.
He left the telly on. What a prick.
There might be someone else in the house.
Either that or his bills are so low that it's insignificant.
True.
I hate being clapped for.
Well, one thing I'd hate more is being treated as a co-parent when you're still a child. I can't believe you, person I've put adult responsibilities on, not being an adult when you're clearly a teenager. It's the 80s. I get it, but boy is it irritating.
Yes.
Back before the days of mobile phones, life was much more terrifying.
Well, he did try to call the police, but that just didn't work.
It's not going to do fuck all when you're up against the supernatural.
Yep.
How old is middle school? Like fucking 12 to 15?
Well, for us it was 9, like late half of 9 to something.
Fair enough. So pre-teen then?
Yeah.
That's some not so subtle racism, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone's favourite superhero, Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic, who has the superheroes of a goddamn freak.
Like, he's not even his wife's favourite superhero, and that's a problem.
It depends on the run, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's one of those where I appreciate Plastic Man from DC a little bit more because at least he acts like a weirdo.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Plastic Man being basically DC's Deadpool.
Not really. He's a reformed villain, but I wouldn't say he's as batshit insane as Deadpool. Like, he can be in a serious cartoon without dragging down the tone.
True, but if he's in his own cartoon, then it's basically a Warner Brothers cartoon.
But he doesn't have his own cartoon. That's the fucking point.
They tried to give him one, but it didn't focus test well because the focus testers didn't know what to think of it.
If you say so. He hasn't got the power to carry his own show. And yeah, we are still talking about Plastic Man. I don't care about two kids kissing.
Yeah.
We get it. They're at that age where they're fucking horny all the time. We all went through it. It's fine. For a second, when they zoomed in on her, she looked like she was a teacher with the way she's dressed.
I mean, let's be honest. Teachers, when we were kids, were probably kids at this age and probably didn't change their dress code.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I still wear the same shit that I wore when I was 19.
Oh, I don't. I'm too big for it.
Okay, but the same style.
I know, I was making a shit joke. Let me have it.
Like, metal t-shirts, jeans when I can be arsed, and joggers when I can't.
Not really. I used to wear a lot of shirts when I was younger, and now I wear more, band shirts, like you say.
Sure. I wear shirts as, like, mini jackets.
Yeah, but I think that's the I think that just comes with being large, Rick.
Yeah.
Not to disparage you, I know what it's like, because I do the same thing on occasion.
Yeah, it lets me show off the t-shirt that I'm wearing, and also it gives me a top pocket.
Yeah, that's exactly the fucking reason, right? You want that pocket.
Yeah, you want the top pocket. I've got a t-shirt with a top pocket. It's my favourite t-shirt. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any logos on it.
And nothing has changed in policing in 20, 40 years. They never take fucking missing persons seriously in the States.
Mm-hmm.
They never take them seriously in Britain either, but States is such a bigger and scarier place, what with the prevalence of guns.
Yep. When you're gone for an hour, you can be a lot further away in America than you can in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Already, the guy that they're giving the report to is just like, he's probably just playing hooky, and it's like, well, maybe he is, maybe he's not, but you got to look all the same. That's your fucking duty as a policeman.
Mm-hmm. This appears to be his dad.
That's not true. It's so easy to villainise policemen, especially in these small rural towns, because they're all cunts.
Yes.
And with that sentence, I could never go to the USA. Look at these fucking men in black motherfuckers.
Man. So I'm assuming this is the place where we saw the guy go missing from in the opening scene.
I mean, 100%, it's the same hallway. Well, it was. I like how they prioritise putting on the safety gear before getting the guns out. That's a rare change of pace from an American thing.
Yeah.
They still got the guns, so you still know they're Yankee Doodle dandies. I've been told that's a racial thing. I've never treated it as such, so if that is racially insensitive to say Yankee Doodle dandy, I do apologise. But it's so
apparently
fun.
Americans don't like being called Yank, not because it's inaccurate, but because it's inaccurate for half of them.
Oh, what? Because of the fucking Civil War?
Yeah. So it was only correct for one or the other sides.
Oh, whatever. Guess what? If I'm insulting the Union, they can fuck off.
Yeah. I guess it's like calling all Brits red roses or white roses.
That would at least be cool.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking talk to some fucking stranger in America and like, what you doing over here, you red rose? And I'm like, I fucking love that. Oh, yeah. Better than being called a fucking gammon.
Oh, yeah. Because that means you're like fucking Jim Davidson.
Oh, god damn, you're not wrong. That's the thing, is I'd be insulted to be called being called a gammon, not because of the actual intended meaning, but so much as it's usually reserved for Tory cunts.
Yes. It's like Jim Davidson has kind of appropriated it as for himself. In that he knows that he's gammon-faced. And that he knows that he is the stereotype.
Jim Davidson's even worse because he was from a working class fucking family.
Yeah. And now he's just kind of gone too far off the other end.
Yeah, he's fucked off to fucking Cyprus or wherever it is, so he doesn't have to pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an aside, we kind of spoke over it, Rick, but that last scene where we saw them actually going into like the nest sort of area, that looked alien as fuck. As in the movie.
It did. Mm-hmm.
Sport.
Yeah. Did you watch the sports ball last night? Yeah, the ball really did sport.
Oh, jeez. Like, I get it. It's banter to put in the background because, you know, people have lives outside of the film, but, eh.
Did the ball go? Hell yeah, it did.
She's going to get told off, isn't she?
Yeah, because she's broken in and she's eating all the chips.
To be fair, I think they were going to get chucked. Man, that motherfucker's tall.
Yeah, he is. Actually a girl, but they do a good job of making it look like, or making them look androgynous.
Sure. Yeah, the only reason why I say girl is because I know that character's a girl.
Yeah. Man, it must suck to be a teacher who's trying to be cool. And nobody gives a shit. Although, thankfully.
You're always going to have nerds who are nerds.
Yeah.
And hey, guess what? It's nice to see a teacher that's still got a bit of passion in them, even if they're a fake teacher.
Hmm.
I like how it's just like, here's my fancy new kit, and the kids are excited to play with the new kit. Let's let them play with the new kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would frighten the shit out of you as a kid, wouldn't it?
Yep.
I've had to do this at work, Rick.
Yeah.
With fucking customers, because you'll have one customer come up and start saying something, and then 2 more show up, and you have to just go. It's a lot less of a fucking serious situation. Don't get me wrong. Where you're just like, look, one at a time, because I can't hear all of you at once.
Yes. Yeah, it's a real problem, especially with people who are used to being heard. And they don't want to wait for someone else to stop talking.
Yeah. I know it sounds overly cruel, but you're it is technically the correct decision of 1 child is missing, we don't want 3 more children to go missing.
Mm-hmm.
This person has already been presented as a bit of an antagonistic character, so I already don't like him. How is he an antagonist? Because he's a fucking cop in America.
Yep. Is it profiling to say it's because he has a mustache?
Yeah, because I've got a mustache and I'm not a dick.
No, you've got a beard.
Okay, but a mustache is part of the beard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mustache on its own is the thing that costs it for me.
So this has to be a flashback, right?
Probably.
Or can the
almost certainly.
Oh, now I've got a question for you, Rick, because I don't know much about the D&D creature. Can the Demogorgon shapeshift and or do mental shit?
I don't know.
Because now it's either a flashback or the Demogorgon's fucking with him to some capacity, either mentally or by shapeshifting.
Mm-hmm.
Flashback, bad flashback. So has he done a U-turn and like, oh man, you're so scrawny, I should probably feed you? Yeah, he's done a U-turn. That's heartwarming.
Yep.
Can she speak at this point? Because if I kind of vaguely remember correctly, isn't she like some sort of experiment?
Yeah, I know she's an experiment. I'm vaguely aware it's because she has psychic powers.
I didn't know that was the reason, but I know she had. It was basically a Firefly situation. This dude is being way more reasonable than I expected from the first encounter.
He is, yeah.
Oh, I don't like that fucking imagery. That's... Ugh.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not familiar with history, they used to tattoo Jewish prisoners in concentration camps with numbers to identify them as opposed to names. It was yet another way
usually
to
on the
dehumanize
wrist.
them.
Yep, usually on the wrist.
He thinks he's helping, but I'm convinced that they're probably sending the suits in after this phone call.
Totally.
Well, at least they reveal it super early on, eh?
Yep. The fan was annoying, so I broke it with my mind.
Well, she probably did just turn it off, but okay. Again, there's a golden. I don't know how long it's been a thing, but there's a golden rule when someone goes missing. You got 24 hours before the trail basically goes cold. So it feels like they're not trying particularly hard, are they?
Yeah. Well, they did find the bike. But yeah, the other thing is 24 hours before you can report it is a complete myth.
Yeah, it's something that TV shows made up to add drama
to
to
make
TV
it more
shows.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was in so many TV shows, people just thought it was correct, when in reality, no, the opposite is true. You need to report it as soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as there's any suspicion.
And yeah, there is a possibility that you're perhaps worrying for no reason, but it's better safe than sorry.
Hmm.
But if something happens out of the ordinary, then you are going to worry and you are going to want some assistance. Now, don't get me wrong, if someone is constantly crashing at other people's homes, you're probably not going to worry if they're gone for a few hours.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When people are actively fighting you, when you're trying to find a loved one, I can understand the frustration.
Back when people would check the answering machines.
Well, yeah, because you couldn't just text someone.
No. I remember when we got an answering machine, it had a really tiny magnetic tape in it.
Okay.
I thought it was the cutest thing. We stopped using it because it just kept getting filled up with telemarketers.
Weirdly good police work from this gentleman who I had no faith in. I wasn't expecting him to be this competent.
I remember the dog being bigger, but maybe it's just because the child was smaller.
It was definitely because the child was tiny. I now feel really bad for shitting on this guy because he's now being, like I said, surprisingly competent.
Yeah. He's done his thing of making sure you have a bad first impression by showing him in the morning.
True. But also country cop.
I, like many other, am not a morning person.
I'm not a morning person. I've got to feed dogs in the morning, so, you know, it's just kind of part of the course. You kind of have to become a morning person if you have dogs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they shit everywhere. It's not wrong. Like, if you don't get, if they're used to being allowed outside at a certain time, their bodies are like, oh, it's poo time. If you're not there to let them outside, you got shit on your floor. It's cruel to the dogs to expect otherwise.
Yep. Do they do the cat thing as well of making sure to shit in the most inconvenient place, or do they actually do it on the easily cleanable floors?
Well, the big dog is because they're bigger, they got bigger bowels or something. I don't know the technical term. Either way, she can hold it pretty well. The little dog is little, and she just needs to shit. And she gets locked up in her cage at night because that's how she was brought up before we got her. So she sleeps in a cage. So if she shits on her bed, and that bed needs to go in the bin.
Sure.
Because usually her poos are bad, and they just get instantly cake in.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of turd, we were reminiscing about old holidays, and one time a guy drove 18 hours to come and join us. And he did an Odyssey poo.
Okay.
Which was long and large because he was a tall guy and he had a long bowel. And the poo came back 2 days later.
What does that mean?
We flushed it down the toilet, and then a couple of days later, it apparently got stuck in the U-bend and it came back.
Are you sure you just didn't have another shit and forgot to flush?
No, because the toilet was empty in the morning, and then we came back from from Disney World. The poo was there. And we were pretty sure it was the same one because it was long and yellow.
I didn't need that much information, Rick.
She's getting called out for saying douchebag as if it's in any way a swear word.
Well, you probably shouldn't say it in front of the baby. A rather typical 80s family dynamic.
Hmm.
There we go. This is the sort of attention I was expecting earlier on, but now that they suspect that something's actually fucked up, they've proper rounded up the posse.
Yep.
This is not the time for this. There's nothing wrong with not having an interest. I'm going to assume she's
There's nothing
passed
wrong
away.
with not having an interest, but it's there is a problem with antipathy towards knowledge.
But he doesn't seem to be like, not wanting to be one to explore the stars is one thing. Like, he doesn't seem to have anything against people being smart. You know? Or
yeah, he
intelligent in different ways.
He was never one
say.
for like. Yeah, he said he was never like one for science or all that shit.
Wait, hang on. Didn't Will, before they left, say that he got by the Demogorgon?
Yeah, he did.
So is the D&D game magically enchanted and that's why he got?
Apparently.
It might just be a coincidence, but hey-ho. What the fuck? I know, I was just making the exact same... Ugh. I was going to try and make a point, but I got so distracted by the exposition. I'm sorry.
Yep. So yeah, this is... it seems like they made a show out of this Satanic Panic.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it was very weird the first time I played D&D. Because I played that way after Satanic Panic was over. But I still remember people talking about D&D being evil. And the first time I looked into it, it's just like, this is just a video game before video games.
Yeah, it's just playing Playground with dice.
Oh.
It's Warhammer with one dude.
Wasn't that basically Inquisitor?
Yeah, but that came after.
That's a big fucking tug of ice cream. Or is she just really small?
Both. It's bigger than the Ben and Jerry's that we get.
Okay, cool, because that's what I was thinking. Can I just say, it's nice to see adult characters in this sort of thing that aren't immediately creeps and or dicks.
Mm-hmm.
And the one person who I thought was a dick is at least competent at his job.
Yeah.
So...
Oh.
Fuck! I'm properly upset. Oh!
Yeah, that guy didn't deserve that. Those two guys did, but that guy didn't.
Yeah, no, fuck the Men in Black. They're evil, but... Oh... I've never seen It, and yet I'm getting It vibes.
It's like, it's also a bit like E.T., you know?
It's been... Oh, we should do that for the channel, because I've not seen that film in years. So much so I've forgotten most of it.
I know it's got a young Drew Barrymore in it before she became a druggie.
Okay.
In fact, I believe it's the movie that gave her all the money that let her become a druggie.
I feel like this is rather casual, dismissive of a really proper, serious mental illness, but okay.
Yeah, well, she clawed her way out of it and became an actress again. Yeah, he didn't want to help, he wanted to fuck.
From this angle, he looks a bit like a very young, very fluffy-haired Ben Schwartz.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Is that his name?
A little bit.
The guy, he was in Renfield.
Yeah.
Talks really fast, always has a mobile phone in everything he's in.
Oh, yeah. Jean-Ralphio.
Is that his name?
Ben Schwartz, yeah. Ben Schwartz.
I love this song. I wouldn't want to make out to it, but it's a good song.
Well, remember, it would have been new back then.
I'm sure, I'm just saying. I swear this was 70s, this song. That's fine.
Well, even if it was late 70s, it's still only a few years old, because it's like 83.
Oh, 1982 came out the year before, so...
Okay.
Yeah, brand new. Fuck you, silly. Yeah, that's all teenage boys really think about. I gotta be honest with you, some people don't grow out of it.
No.
Wow. That's the problem especially in teenage years. If you have sex with someone and then you break up, they will start calling you a slut and spread that shit around, quote unquote, the playground.
Yeah. Oh, the worst thing is even if you don't do anything, that it's still open to the slut shaming.
True. Hey, give him credit where credit's due. He backed off.
Yeah. Man, we had one girl at our school, and
is this story
she got
appropriate?
slut shamed for being blonde.
I'm sorry, that was the only reason.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong.
Much.
Even if you fuck a dude you're in a relationship with, that doesn't make you a slut. You know, but you know, oh, she's blonde, she must be a whore. Like,
yeah.
Fuck me. What a misogynistic society we live in.
Yep. Out of the 5 girls in a year, she was the only blonde, and therefore she was the easiest, apparently. So yeah. I kind of want to go back and slap all of our year, but oh well.
I do feel bad for this teenager. Because she might not remember, but during that first morning when she phoned up and reported him missing, she was laying the blame on him.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she wanted to blame him for not being there when he came home. trying to focus on the phone call.
Yeah, same. That's some chitinous fucking eatings. There was no real dial in the 80s.
No, 1471.
That's a British version of Redial, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, 1471, and then if you want to actually redial it, you can do 3. Because it would tell you the number. But it'd cost extra if you press 3, as opposed to writing it down and then dialing it yourself.
I agree. It's one of those where it's like, if you want to be a baby and turn back on your own, do it. But the problem is, turning back on your own is more terrifying than sticking with a group.
Yes.
But they're probably going to meet the girl from the diner, right?
There we go.
Oh, you're a little bit ahead of me. That's a shot.
Yeah, because Netflix on mobile doesn't like being paused and not playing at 0 time.
Yeah, for those of you unaware, Rick's having to go back to the bullshit method of doing these podcasts.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's entirely because my PC is still dead, and I can't start to get it repaired until after I found out how much it's going to cost to repair the lighthouse that I hit.
Yeah, Rick needs money. But yeah, we're on the credits, and it's one of those where, man, Winona Ryder apparently had her own makeup team, which, you know, if that's something that she just has on every movie, then at least, like, she's constantly employing people. But if that she demanded her own team just for her, that's kind of shitty. I doubt it's the latter, but you never know.
I think it's more likely the production department just gave her one.
Seems a bit excessive.
Well, she's, I believe she's the most well-known actress of the lot, so...
Okay, sure, but unless she's in the Demogorgon suit, which she fucking ain't, that's a fucking vanity card.
Yeah, she was in Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands.
Okay. 2 films I've not watched.
However, you know about them.
Of course I do. I don't live on a rock, but, you know, I don't know who the fuck... I don't know who she is so much so that I don't know what character she played in this. Now I've got to sit through a minute and a half of credits, so let's find some bullshit to talk about.
Yeah, let's have a look at Winona Ryder. Winona Laura Horowitz.
I can see why she went with Ryder. It's a bit more easier to come off the tongue, ain't it?
Yeah. Oh, she was married to Johnny Depp until 1993.
Weird, but I guess they would have met when they were young. 'Cause, you know, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp had the privilege of being killed by Freddy Krueger on one of his debut acting roles.
Okay.
What do you want from me, dude? We got to kill a minute, and that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disparaging the statement.
I believe it was Kevin Bacon that got done by Jason in Friday the 13th.
Alrighty.
Was it Kevin Bacon? Footloose.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyway. Dude, give me something. I've got 24 seconds to kill.
Yeah, so, apparently the Will character becomes part of the main cast from season 2 onwards.
Oh, so he's not dead then?
Yeah, apparently not.
Fair enough.
And, you know, the fact that it goes on for more seasons means that, you know, it seems that the main cast are not I'm not going to say they're not they're invincible, but they seem to have main character protection at least. But yep, that's it for the episode.
But that's just any story, though, isn't it? Like, the main characters are going to be protected, otherwise they're not the fucking main characters.
Well, okay, but sometimes you have like a rotating main character cast.
Go on.
Well, just in general, like it's like if you find out that what you thought was the core main characters turns out to be a core of like actually two of them and the rest of them just don't matter, then that's something you find out maybe episode 3 or so.
Okay, but I feel like this feels very Scooby-Doo in that there was always going to be a core team.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The main 4 now has 11 in it.
But anyway, what did you think of the actual episode itself, Rick?
It was a reasonably good introduction. Like, it caught me. I probably will watch more of it. How about you?
Oh, that was fucking brief. I was expecting a bit more, but okay. It was a good first episode. I don't know if I'll be watching any more, mostly because I've got a ton of stuff I want to do. This feels like a show where if I want to watch it, I want to watch it, not watch it while doing other things. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't think there was any real lull in this first episode. Everything was just kicking the plot along, you know?
Sure.
I think the closest thing we had to a lull was the kids hanging out with the nerd teacher, and even then it was just to show, hey, even though these are nerds and outcasts, they're still buddy with other nerds and outcasts. I don't know where I'm going with it, but you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But yeah, let's do our usual rundown. Rick, favourite moment?
It was probably the hazmat team going into the Demogorgon's lair, showing that something actually is happening in the real world and not just to the kids.
Okay.
It was, as you said, it was very Alien with a capital A-esque. But how about you? What was your favourite moment?
Favourite moment was the owner of that little diner doing a complete U-turn upon seeing how scrawny and fucked up 11 was and being like, I need to feed and look after this child as best I can.
Yeah, because I liked that guy.
Yeah, and a bit of a follow-up in that it wasn't my favourite moment because it was quite depressing, but it gave one of the rare times where I've just shouted on the podcast out of legitimate shock, and that was, oh fuck, that guy's dead now. He didn't deserve it. He really didn't.
No.
But yeah, we can't only talk about the good, we also have to talk about the bad. So with that in mind, Rick, have you got a weakest link for me?
Building off what you just said, the fact that diner owner isn't going to be a constant in Eleven's life. Like, he seemed to be a good guy, and it could have been a turning point for her character of having someone who cares about her.
I don't think he was ever going to be a turning point in Eleven's life, in the sense that he was always going to be a temporary stopgap.
Oh yeah, he was attempting to turn her over to Child Protection Services because, you know, it's the correct thing to do in that situation.
It's one of those where I don't think you can call it a weak link. Like, it's your weak link and you're fine to keep it as such, but it's one of those where it was never going to be an important beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't actually have any criticisms of the way that the show was. I think the pacing was relatively fine. But yeah, how about you? What was your weakest link?
My weakest link was the fact that I know a lot about this show despite never having fucking watched it.
Yeah.
So it kind of spoiled a few things. Like, I was already vaguely aware of 11. We already knew the Demogorgon is the big bad, so much so that we've speculated that perhaps the D&D game is haunted and that's what caused the Demogorgon to target Will. We don't know, but it's probably a non-zero factor. I'm curious to know who the villain is for season 2 and 3, because I don't know the villains for those ones.
Yeah, that's something that we can actually be surprised by.
Season 3's just Strahd and he's an incel.
I wouldn't even be surprised.
Anyway, Rick, time to add to that all-important feature that we like to bring up. Every show, we always name an MVP. Who is it this time round?
I'm going to go for the child actors because they were very good. If I have to zoom in on one, I'm going to go with Finn Wolfhard because he's really shown his acting chops even from a young age. He's stepping into the role of leader of the party already, and I just think he's doing really well for himself in this and going forward.
I get what you're saying, because it was one of the few pieces of praise that Game of Thrones got when it first started, in that child actors can make or break things where child characters are a fairly big part of the plot, and if your child actors are shit, it's going to be shit.
Yeah, if your child actors are shit, your show's going to be shit.
And I'll be honest with you, there was no point at this where I didn't believe that I was watching the characters on screen. None of them seemed like they were children trying to play a role. So I get what you're saying. I'll tip my hat to you, sir. You've picked a good MVP.
How about you? Who's your MVP?
Can't remember his name, but Dickhead Cop.
Yeah, he did his incompetent to competent turn.
It was very quick too.
Very competently. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I say it like for the 5th time until I'm blue in the face. I can't believe how competent he was once he realised shit was actually fucked. It took him a bit too long to get there, but honestly, we know the nature of the threat as viewers, so we know that actually it probably doesn't matter how long he took to actually get to that stage. But in a real life scenario, he reacted a bit poorly, but then then he started doing basically Batman level shit.
Yep. Jim Hopper.
Was that the character's name?
Yep.
Fair enough.
According to the wiki, one of his aliases is Fat Rambo.
Oh, that cool. I'm looking forward to see why he's called that. That's cool. I've never seen a Rambo film, but I've seen some of the action scenes, and they are over the top and dumb.
Similar to you saying that you've absorbed a lot of this via osmosis. I think a lot of people have done the same with Rambo. Like,
yeah. But yes, thank you for joining us as always, guys. We do appreciate it. We've got the comment section down below on YouTube. If you want to talk to us, give us suggestions, etc., etc. If you're not watching via YouTube, you can instead send us an email at nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Thank you for making it this far, you beautiful people. And join us again next week, where we're probably doing a cartoon. We're not entirely 100% sure, but hey ho diddly do. It's part of life's mysteries. Bye, guys.
Ta-ra.